no one's gonna go on social media like trying to like shop for insurance.
Sure.
You basically have to like stop them in their tracks of being entertained to
Mhm.
um, stop them from scrolling.
Sure, yeah.
Because if it's boring, if you're like, hey, mine is blah blah blah, like if it's just like static and you're just talking in front of a camera, people are just gonna scroll right through it. You're like,
Yeah,
Whatever,
yeah,
get out of here, this guy." Uh, so it has to be eye catching, colorful,
sure.
exciting. Uh,
Did you hired somebody, or did you get learn how to use the Facebook Ads Manager, or are you actually in there like doing them? Because those are pretty. It's a little tricky, you know.
yeah, it's pretty complex, but
Yeah,
it's I didn't hire anybody. There's a lot of information for free on YouTube.
yeah.
Spend a lot of
Just
time
gotta
there.
just gotta put in the work. That's right.
Yeah, yeah, and it's sometimes when because in the beginning, obviously, I wasn't converting anything too, but the money you spend and not converting, I feel like that's like your tuition to learn.
Yeah,
Because no
yeah,
one's gonna be able to buy even a lead or any marketing campaign, direct mail, anything like that. You're just not gonna be very good the very first attempt. you
right.
know.
Yeah,
Um, so I think it's just reps and practice, and it's like a new sport. But I think it is something that is
and
definitely worth. I mean, talking about ROI, the hours I spent learning that, it,
yeah,
and the money I spent on that is so invaluable now because it's just the way the world's moving,
right.
and having a presence and being relevant on social media, I think is just critical for especially for young agency owners who have a long future to learn. I think hiring somebody is something that and people have hired me to do theirs, which is great. But I
Oh,
think
wow.
I think it's also worth it,
To
and
know.
your technical abilities too,
Yeah,
and the ability to how comfortable you are on that. It really depends on each person, but there's no doubt, Chris. You'll be able to, as long again, it's like depending on your schedule and how much time you
sure.
have and what your ambition is and how much sacrifice you want to make. But
Yeah,
nowadays, those type of things could be done on the weekends, and
yeah, yeah.
the
You're
willingness
right.
to lose a little bit of money, I think that goes with it too, because
Yeah,
it is not easy, I'll tell you that, but I think it's kind of fun. You get a little bit of creative side in you. With us being insurance agents, you didn't really think you're gonna be so have to use your creative side of your brain, but it's kind of fun to like think like, hey, what I'm gonna say, how I'm gonna make it look cool, what type of music I'm playing. It's just like so many things that goes into creating basically a commercial.
Yeah. What do you feel like is the differentiator, like with your creativity, that other agencies that are running Facebook ads, um, like myself, that didn't work? Like, what do you feel is like your competitive edge that like makes people notice, you know, your agency versus like going with maybe someone else? Like when it comes to like a social media ads kind of creative side.
Well, I think first of all, I don't think there's a lot of people doing it, so that already
yeah,
gives me an advantage.
right.
Uh, but I think in general, I think the creative has to be interesting or entertaining.
Yeah,
No one wants to like, no one's gonna go on social media like trying to like shop for insurance.
sure.
You basically have to like stop them in their tracks of being entertained to
Hmm.
um, stop them from scrolling.
Sure, yeah,
Because if it's boring, if you're like, hey, mine is blah blah blah, like if it's just like static and you're just talking in front of a camera, people are just gonna scroll right through it. You're like,
yeah,
Whatever,
yeah,
get out of
yeah,
here, this guy." uh, so it has to be eye catching, colorful,
sure.
exciting. um, so I think trying to make it entertaining is just a very huge challenge, and
It's
even trying to
tough.
make it funny is a challenge too. But those two things, entertaining and funny,
Yeah,
I think if you provide value to the audience, I think then you have a chance.
Okay. Yeah, that's always I think that's always a good way to go, regardless of what you're putting out, whether it's ads or just even organic content. I try to like one thing I've tried to do a little bit, even with like my interviews or even content, is like try to be more and that's why I even told you from the beginning. I was like, let's just keep it like, let's just let it flow, because when it's all just cut and dry, you want to try to bring some type of value, entertainment, make people laugh once in a while. I'm not the funniest guy. You're probably funnier than I am, Dan. But yeah, we try to just keep it entertaining and bring value too. But yeah, that's awesome. I'll definitely keep that in mind. I think I gave up right around the point where it was like the different types of audiences that you can do. Like you can do lookalike audiences, and like there's a different kind of audience that starts to, like, the algorithm starts to figure everybody out. That's when I was like, okay, I'm tapping out. Like, I'm not understanding all this. It gets a little too complex. But dude, you're right. Just put in the weekend hours and understand it and learn. And yeah, there's no excuses. There's no excuses.
But
What is your kind of main marketing tactics right now?
Yeah, so right now we're doing, so I was going to actually I wanted to ask you about this too. I'm glad you brought it up. Right now we're doing a lot of outbound, like automation, email campaigns, kind of voicemail dropping here and there
Okay.
with leads. So that's working pretty well. We're also, I mean, the referral partnerships are really where we're like getting a lot of our leads. And those are, we're kind of also even now starting to automate and outbound drip and email campaign referral partners. So like we're going after loan officers, realtors, captive agents that need help with stuff they can't write, stuff like that. So we're even now not focusing so much on just converting customers. We're now really trying to go after even referral partners, so that we could have a list of loan officers that first thing they can think of when a homeowner's is Adelphia or Chris. So that's kind of been working well for us. On top of that, kind of like you said, the business just starts to grow. The current clients start to get more and more and bigger, and premiums go up. So there's that. And yeah, I mean, just cross-selling, networking, outbound, organic content. We're really just trying to go hard on the organic stuff and just staying in front of our current audience and trying to grow our own organic audience. It's tough. The organic route is not easy because you're only reaching a certain amount of people, and growing an Instagram or a Facebook or a YouTube channel or any of that kind of stuff, you just gotta just put in the work, and there's no money you can throw at it. You can throw money with the content and whatnot, but even then there's no guarantee. So the organic route is not always the best, and that's why I think you're bringing up good points with the advertising for sure. That should be in our wheelhouse. The funds aren't like in the best spot to be pouring money into Facebook at the moment, but something I'm going to definitely reconsider and think about.
Yeah, and I really like that, and I can see your activity level is really good. But almost
yeah,
look at the organic part as practice. So you
yeah,
kind of like figure out like, oh, I post this like got more engagement, like people like this, and
yeah,
the more you get comfortable with that, then you're gonna find a situation where like, oh, this did really well, people like this, and that kind of gives you like more of that.
yeah.
You start spending money on something that you like. So I think I look
Okay.
at uh, the ads as the game, and the organic as a practice to figure
Yeah,
out what people like. And then I think what you said, I think, could help a lot of people, because we do a lot of it is just automation
really. Okay.
stuff. Yeah.
Dripping, email
Hmm.
campaign, dripping, and
Yeah.
nice. That's good stuff.
So I think more and more of that, I think it's easy too once it's set up right.
Oh yeah, it's
Setting it
great.
up maybe is hard part, but once it's set up, it's great. So
Yeah,
those are the type of things I really think has helped our agency too.
Yeah,
So I'm glad you brought that up.
no, it's crazy, Dan. There's some of them that come through, and I look to see at what point, like we'll set up 11 touch points. Maybe yours is even more. I don't know, but there's some that like on the 11th contact, it's like an email, and the person will respond on the 11th one. I'm like,
Yeah.
holy, that's crazy. Like if we had stopped at 10, like they might have never responded. So on the 11th touch, like they'll answer back and they'll say, hey, yeah, I need a quote. So it's kind of crazy how that works.
but
Yeah, and it's just the system's doing it for you. What about the YouTube channel? Because I am
yeah,
really, have an interest in helping out other agents too. And seems like,
yeah,
man, you're getting really good you know,
Yeah.
yeah, performance there. So
Yeah. No,
that's
it's
just
been
building. How'd you get started with that?
It's interesting the way that happened. It all started with, I was just getting going. I don't know if you see, if you look on my YouTube channel, there's one video that's called how to start an insurance agency.
I just saw it right now. Yeah, right
Yeah,
before.
that's the one that got like all the kind of traffic going to the agency or to the channel. So that one, I was just sitting in my office like in the first year I started, and it was all fresh in my mind. Obviously, how I just did this and like set it all up foundationally, and I before that I was looking everywhere online. Like if you try to start an independent agency, there's zero information online, like how to actually set up the business license, getting the entity approved by the Department of Insurance, getting your errors and omissions, doing all these things. Like there's nothing that's just like a step by step. So I was like, all right. I watched Gary Vee. I don't know if you know who Gary Vee is. He just
Oh
says
yeah.
put out value, and I was like, sure, I'll just make this one video. I made a bunch of them, and that one I just laid it out. I said I kept it really straight to the point, really short. I was literally like this close to not posting it because my collar. If you look at the video, my collar is like that. And I was like, dude, I'm not, I look funny, I sound funny, I'm not gonna post it. And I decided to post it anyway. And for about 8 months, that video didn't get any views. I think it had like 50 views. And then out of nowhere, I think it got on like, some site that kind of helped push it up a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And people just started watching it. The algorithm, YouTube algorithm started to show it to more people. And now I think it just crossed over 20,000 views, and it's gotten more traffic, and people started hitting me up to get consulting calls on how to start. And at first I was like, yeah, I'll do it for like $20 for an hour just to talk to you on like after hours. And then I started realizing, okay, like too many people are calling me. I probably should, bump that up because my time, it's taken away from
Yeah.
the agency. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Now I kind of just do some consulting calls here and there. Um, that's the only way I kind of even make money for myself. but,
Hey,
but yeah.
that's awesome.
What about
That's
you,
a really
Dan? Are
awesome
you
story.
are
I think
you?
that's
Oh yeah,
I
go
think
ahead.
that's the powerful message to that. I think that people and I relate to too is that sometimes we get really self-conscious of
yeah.
like it's kind of like um I don't know if you want to call it like self-esteem or like just like over
Self-image too.
conscious of like what other people think, because
Yeah.
I guarantee you all the 20,000 views no one noticed your collar, and I do that all the time too, and once I kind of got over that and I'm putting out more content, it
Yeah.
has really made a big difference, so I
Yeah.
think kind of like what I learned is I gotta just get over myself. Like I don't really matter that much to a lot of people. Like no one cares, what I'm wearing or
Right.
how I look and what you say. I mean, you want to deliver value, but I
Sure.
think that's a great lesson for others to just put out content and see what happens.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at like, thinking about the end user's experience and if you're providing value to them, that comes back, and I've seen that. You know,
Mm,
um,
100%. Yeah.
for my channel with less views as yours is. So I already experienced that myself. So and it helps to feels good to help others too.
Yeah,
You know.
for sure. And I'll be honest, Dan, like that's what I'm doing now. I have a feeling like it's gonna do something that's gonna be beneficial for, right now I'm just giving for free, giving away all my best advice, and I think you are too. And I was gonna ask you, what is your like long-term vision of it? Like, are you just trying to build it up and see what happens, or because I honestly I'm just going with my gut and saying like I think this will be good for a lot of people, and like it could be good for me in the future. I don't know how. I just creating content and plus meaningful conversations like this are extremely valuable for myself and
Yeah.
on a lot of other people. But I don't know how it's gonna come back. I feel like it'll come back somehow. Do you have a vision at all? Like what's gonna?
Like
Yeah,
happen.
that's really funny you say that, Chris, because when I started making videos, well, basically I was just documenting myself, so I wasn't really it didn't take that much time. But
Yeah.
and I interview other people too, and I've get so much value out of that. So first of all, I think, and then when I help other people and do consultation, so that is one thing, consultation. I'll get
Yeah.
consultation calls like you said, so that's been fun. But when I do them, even though yeah, that's getting me back with some monetary compensation, but I'm also learning a lot about you know my techniques, like I understand it, but when I'm teaching it to somebody, it's a deeper
Mhm.
level. Or sometimes I'll give advice to somebody like, "Hey, I should be doing that more too." So it helps
Yeah.
my operation. But you just never know where it leads to. I
Right.
By putting out content for other agency owners, I have, like I said, consultation. I have also, set up some, Facebook accounts for some, you know.
Mhm.
I've also, sold leads to some. So, and these are
Nice.
things that I never really like expected would happen at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
it's really
crazy.
interesting. You don't even have to have a game plan. You just put out content and see where it takes you.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
that's the way to go. I agree. Like I said, I'm just going with my gut, and I think yeah, we're on the same page with that. But yeah, Dan, I want to also be respectful of your time. Do you want to have? I wanted to ask you one last thing. If you have like any last like little piece of advice for an agent or anybody starting up from scratch that you would say worked for you, and like this is it. I know you've already given a ton of value, but like, is there one little like piece of advice you would say to somebody?
Yeah. Man, it's just hard to narrow just down to one, right? But I
Yeah.
would say, you know, take care of your staff. I would say,
Yeah.
really kind of look out for their best interests, because once you take care of them, then they give back in return to you. I
Totally.
think sometimes people have expectations of their staff. When you hire somebody, kind of an ego, and it's like, hey, you work for me, and then like, what are you gonna do for
Right.
me? I think when you turn that around and say, hey, I work for you, let me help you, and then that's when the commitment kind of returns. So
Totally.
just, it's a communication, it's a relationship business with our customers. So I think
Yeah.
one of the things to be able to scale and depending on your ambition is to, hire the right people and taking care of them. I think in the long run, that's really kind of like where my mind is right now.
Yeah. For sure.
Well, thank you, Dan. I appreciate it, man. It's been great talking to you. Honestly, I feel like we could keep talking forever. So,
Right.
dude, we should get together maybe one day once all COVID situations back to normal and grab a beer or something and talk.
Um, but yeah, Dan, I
Yeah.
really appreciate your time, man, and we'll stay in touch.
Yeah, Chris, I'm glad to yeah get to know you a little better. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to keep in touch with you because I know you're up to big things. So
Thank you.
yeah, we'll
I
keep in
appreciate it.
touch and yeah, definitely. I don't drink, but
Oh, gotcha.
that'll be cool to have some more discussions with you. I
Yeah.
actually grew up in Palos Verdes, so you're in Torrance,
Oh,
right?
no way.
Yeah, yeah. So
Dang, that's crazy.
yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah, dude,
Oh,
I went to Peninsula. Did you go to high school there, or where did you
oh
go to high
yeah.
school?
Oh, you went to Peninsula?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, me too.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Wow, I had no idea.
And then now
Dang.
you live in Torrance, or just that's where your agency is?
I live in Torrance. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
So
cool.
yeah, I'm just currently living here, and then maybe one day buy a house in Palos Verdes, like a nice one. We'll see.
Yeah, right on the cliff.
Hopefully,
Let's do
maybe,
it.
maybe. But yeah, Dan, I appreciate you. That's awesome. Yeah, we got to get
Yeah.
together
Yeah, for sure.
for sure. All right, Dan.
All right, Chris.
Enjoy the rest of your
Nice
day,
talking to you,
man.
man. All right. You too. I'll
Thank you,
see
man.
ya.